He keeps dreaming about his dream girl, night after night, the type of dreams that feel so real that you forget it's a dream. This morning, like other mornings, he jolts back to consciousness, clearly stunned, so much so that he thinks about the dream until it's time for him to head out. Maybe that's because it left him feeling uncomfortable, wondering who the girl in his dreams every night was. Elsewhere, that same girl is enjoying a meal with a friend. The girl, Woo-seo, finally meets up with her childhood friend, Seo, after a month of Seo trying to visit this part of town and being unable to do so. She can't believe they haven't gone to a restaurant together in a while, but that's because of her studies she traveled to Seoul to pursue. It's a grand city she stays at. And even so, it annoys her that all she does there is study for exams. 1. So can't relate, however, it's been a few months since she left the countryside where she grew up and came to Seoul. Upon the time she has spent here, she hasn't gotten used to the place. Nevertheless, she is glad that she and Seo get to hang out today, since they are meeting up to eat and make up for lost time. Like her friend, it's the first time since she got here that she has had proper time for herself, which is why she is glad when her friend supports her idea of having fun together. They plan on going all out, but while Woo-seo is taking her some shots, we get to know that she is her best friend. Back then, she was a little country girl with no friends, and Seo showed up. She is such a good friend that as Woo-seo's camera starts having issues, she is concerned and suggests they change it, since they've graduated. However, she refuses, claiming that it's still good, and since it was a gift from her, she can use it for another 100 years. Back in the day, they didn't have to worry about stuff like this. They were kids, so they lived recklessly, without a care in the world. She can't recall when exactly they became close, but they either became closer because they discovered they shared the same interest in taking pictures or because of what happened when she turned 18. Specifically, the time she lost her mom. She was lost without her, but Seo stayed by her side as best as she could. Later on, she got that camera so she could take pictures and apply for her entrance exams. The plan was for them to go to college with it, but it also gave her the strength to stand up again. That was a while back. Right now, while Seo is focused on how good a time she had today, Woo-seo fears that she spent a little bit of money today. She spent so much that she considers getting a part-time job to help her cover her student loans. In the end, she doesn't pay much attention to that thought, believing that everything will work out somehow. Even though she knows it's hard to find a part-time job around these parts, she hopes to find one. Fortunately for her, some flyer glides into her arms. It contains information that a certain establishment known as the Moonlight Kitchen Cafe is in serious need of part-time workers. The pay is enticing and motivates Woo-seo to call the number on the flyer. Unknown to her, the person who picks up her call and invites her to come in for the interview is watching her from a crystal ball. She assures the lady on the phone that she will be at the cafe soon, since she is in the area and she keeps her word. Nevertheless, when she gets there, she isn't certain she is at the right place. She had walked past it earlier and hopes she is at the right place when she walks in. Upon entering, she discovers that the cafe is beautiful on the outside and seems rather sketchy on the inside. It even looks more like a bar than a cafe. She ends up concluding that it has a good vibe, gazing around until she accidentally bumps into a guy at the counter. That guy is Doyah, the guy who dreams about her every night. In reality, they are strangers to each other for now, but he feels like he has seen her before. Suddenly, a glimpse of his dream pops up in his head. It causes him to panic, wondering why he thought about that just now. Because to him, she seems silly. It's a really bad first impression he has of her, and he walks away viewing her like that, leaving her with the impression that he is a strange person. 1. So suspects he said something to her, but lets it slide and focuses on the pretty lady at the counter. She introduces herself as the person who called earlier, prompting her to ask if she and Doyah were here for the interview. She instructs them to take a seat and fill out the application forms on the table. Woo-seo is shocked to hear someone else came for the interview and wonders who it is. She soon figures out the second person is Doyah, the guy she bumped into earlier. It looks like they're interviewing together, prompting her to conclude that only one person is getting the job. She then goes on to pick the form, sit by him, and read its contents aloud, making Doyah feel uncomfortable. He then asks Woo-seo why she is sitting by him, and she responds that the boss told her to. She doesn't understand why he is being so rude, wondering if the attitude he is exhibiting is what they call Western manners. Whatever it is, she decides she cannot let people like him stick around and plans to have her revenge. On the other hand, Doyah tells himself that Seo must have misinterpreted the cafe owner. Still, he doesn't get up, remaining seated until she arrives and asks so if she is done. She affirms that she is, but confesses that she thought this place was a cafe, whereas it is not. The owner agrees, admitting that she calls it a cafe because she plans on running it as a cafe during the day. When asked if she has ever had a part-time job, Seo replies that although she hasn't really had one, when she was at her hometown, she used to help out at restaurants and supermarkets. She claims she is really good at cleaning and washing dishes, but then Doyah, who has been silent all along, chips in. According to him, since she was clumsy enough to bump into him earlier, she'd probably break all the dishes. She doesn't understand why he is picking on her, but it gets even worse when he glances at her application sheet and mocks her handwriting. He questions the information she puts down, believing she isn't as good as she claims to be. With that declaration, he finally pushes Seo to the wall and she retaliates, demanding to know what his deal is. Unfortunately for him, he can't even come up with a smart mouth response as he realizes he is experiencing unexplainable nervousness. Finally, he comes up with something, pointing out that empty vessels make the loudest noise. That one hit another nerve, so she demands to know the real reason why he is being so rude, complaining about her handwriting, when she has been nice since she arrived. During their argument, her knee accidentally touches his, simultaneously with when she mocks the handwriting on the menu board. It's the knee touch that causes him to panic and get up, shocking Seo and the cafe owner, who has been silently watching them argue, but they don't know. Instead, they feel it's because she complained about the handwriting on the menu board and he is taking it too personally. Soon, it dawns on her that she actually disrespected his handwriting as the boss reveals to her that Doyah is already a part-time worker at the cafe. While they keep talking, he stands there, deaf to what they're saying and focused on the fact that he got excited because he knee-touched a girl's knee. Nevertheless, he snaps out of it just in time to hear Seo confessed that she felt he was trying to sabotage her interview. Those words hit him hard, pissing him off to the point that he starts emitting an evil aura. Amid that aura, 2 horns appear on his head, causing her to panic. Immediately, she does the most reasonable thing she can think about and tries to pull out the horns. She refuses to accept they are real, wondering how they popped up out of nowhere. She tries to tell herself he is doing Halloween cosplay, months after Halloween. It's funny how she keeps pulling Doyah's horns and he lets her at first, before asking her if this is her first time seeing a devil. He warns her to mind her manners, but she is so stunned that she freezes, while still holding on to his horns. Their boss is busy enjoying the drama, letting them argue while she sips tea. Eventually, Seo lets go of his horns and decides she is safer if she sits with her boss. She feels safe at the moment and wants to know if the cafe is a place where devils gather. Suddenly, her boss's eyes go demonic as she confesses that she is a sorceress, a witch, an immortal, and also a pretty boss. Surprisingly, Seo is not fazed. On the contrary, she wants to know which of those things her boss is, and if she can cast spells like they do in wizard movies. She agrees that she is similar to the movie depictions, although she condemns some of the stuff shown in movies, claiming most of them are rarely accurate. According to her, in the real world, a being can have multiple names, like her. So doesn't look bothered because she has come to understand that the generation has changed a lot. They are in a time where humans have no other choice but to live harmoniously with nature and see people like her as people with special abilities. The cafe she is in is a place where those special people kick back and relax. Turns out the cafe owner likes her. She asks her when she would like to start, crushing Doyah totally. Still, he has no say here. Seo has announced that she will be available during the weekend, and the owner gleefully responds that she will see her then. Doyah doesn't hide how displeased he is, but she's hiring because she feels he needs a helping hand from time to time. He believes that if his opinion didn't mean anything, she shouldn't have asked him to stay back after closing time. But their boss doesn't care. She plays the victim and accuses him of being rude to her, when Won-so asks if she can work there as an ordinary person. On hearing this question, even Doyah wants to know if that'll be possible. To his surprise, she responds that Won-so isn't an ordinary girl, as she has a guardian angel following her, shocking her, because she thought it's only her who sees the creature. Her angel, once it realizes it has been spotted, comes out and is also shocked. It introduces itself as So-so, and once more her boss assures her they'll see each other during the weekend. When she leaves, Doyah still refuses to accept her. He doesn't know if it's okay to work with her, but is more bothered about her guardian angel that he can't see. Turns out even the owner didn't see it initially. Her crystal ball told her about it, but she still believes she's done the right thing. Mostly because during the day the cafe is visited by human customers and by employing one. So, she is supporting human coexistence with their kind. She then asks her cat, Princess, to get a uniform for Won-so, and asks Doyah to be nicer to the new employee next time. She and Princess didn't expect him to react the way he did today, since they know him as a flirt. He refuses to explain, walking out of the cafe annoyed as he declares that he is going home and she will pay him for overtime. When he leaves, they acknowledge that he's being weird today, and the scene shifts to Won. So, who's on her way home? Just to be sure, she asks So-so if it gave her the part-time flyer, and it claims it didn't. She admits that she is feeling excited because she is not the only one who can see So-so. The mystical being claims this is so because it is a bit mysterious, before Won-so recalls that her new boss is a sorceress and Doyah is a devil. It now makes sense to her when she was a little girl, and her mother told her her father was an angel. She claimed he descended from heaven and couldn't come to see her because he was busy working at the time. She considers the possibility of them existing when So-so snaps her out of her deep thinking. It admits it is also happy as well. When she asks why, it reminds her that they have to sign up for classes the following day, a key detail she almost forgot. When the day finally arrives, she is seated before her computer screen, trying to click on something as So-so keeps her posted on the time. Eventually, she gives up, cursing the computer screen, before declaring that it's madness that it's still loading. She regrets not going to an internet cafe to do this, before giving up and returning to her bed. She is drained and frustrated because of the malfunctioning computer, but glad that at least she has the day off. On her bed, she recalls that Seo and her have a lot of classes together, remembering that's what she saw when she had a look at the timetable that she sent to her. She also remembers Seo saying something about a freshman party, wondering if Doyah will be there too. Suddenly, life returns to her, a new hope that she could make new friends or probably get too drunk. She is nervous, no doubt, but she goes to the party anyway. It's her first night outing in Seoul, and what they see literally cripples So-so's mind. Specifically the many people on the streets, and a lot of them who are underdressed. So on the other hand is nervous, but she is certain everything will go well, since she has a guardian angel. A guardian angel that might need guidance to make it through this night alone. Why? Well, it is suddenly interested in the drinking alcohol part of the freshman party. It claims drinking alcohol makes it feel mature and has hopes that Won-so ends up with a good-looking boyfriend. Nevertheless, she feels that's impossible because she doesn't know anyone here. Suddenly, she realizes that everyone she is moving with has left her behind, leaving her to wonder where they went. That's what you get when you are distracted. But fortunately for her, Seo finds her. She beckons to her and Won. So begs her to wait up so they go together. Before she knows it, So-so gets all serious all of a sudden, telling her about a smell that is very strong today. Since she can't perceive it, it has to tell her that it's curious about the smell, wondering if she is also dying to find out. What it's perceiving is the smell of bad luck, and when Won-so hears this, she misses a step. This marks the beginning of her bad luck. She is falling in front of everyone on her first day on campus and knows this will be embarrassing. As she calls out to So-so, expecting it to do its job as her guardian angel and save her. It starts floating around as fast as possible, calling on someone, anyone, to save Won-so. Luckily for her, someone who looks a lot like Doyah hears So-so's cry and unconsciously saves her. In the end, that person is not some look-alike, but actually Doyah reminds her of the bad luck her guardian angel was talking about. She feels there is nothing as unfortunate as bumping into this devil, now of all times, and he also doesn't look too pleased to see her. Seeing this, she apologizes hurriedly for diving into his chest. All he does is sternly warn her not to mess around in the cafe like she did some seconds back. She is stunned by the warning, and he is about stressing on her clumsiness when someone calls him. He then hurriedly adds that she should be more careful, watch where she is going, and try not to get in trouble. He leaves, she's still pissed at him. She is so angry that she doesn't notice the blonde-haired hottie staring at her and goes to link up with Seo, who wants to know what the confrontation is all about. Woo treats it as nothing, casually explaining that she almost fell. Seo, who suspects there's more to it, informs her friend that Doyah is in the same department as them, and he is a total player. It looks like her way of telling her to steer clear of him. She is certain he is a playboy because when she went to get a drink, she saw him surrounded by a lot of girls. Also, some girl named Min Jung from their department dated him once, and she's become the goddess of the class. This is news to Woo, who recalls their first meeting at the cafe and how he didn't seem so remarkable. Seo goes on to give her more gist about Min Jung and why she didn't come to the party. She is shocked that her friend doesn't know what's been happening and tags her lucky for having her around to fill her in on these things. They both agree that Woo can't do much without her, with our girl adding that she would have been lonely and can't live without her. She praises her for being the best, making her feel happy and proud of herself. It works, and after they round up gossiping, the pair get wasted together, chugging down various bottles of beer while playing rock, paper, scissors with their colleagues. Unfortunately for Seo, she is a failure at the game and goes from loss to loss. Each time she loses the game, she gets to do a dare. One member of the audience suggests she sing, when out of nowhere, a chubby senior warns them to quiet down since they aren't cut out for this. He also accuses them of acting like seniors when they are easily spotted as freshmen, and suggests they spice up their game by daring people to collect numbers. For starters, he suggests Seo go over to Yeon Young and Jang Hyun-woo's table to ask for their numbers. This is the first time a lot of them are seeing him here, and are glad they go to the same school as him. Normally, Woo feels this is good for her friend, since one of the persons at that table is an actor she has been crushing on for a while. She has always looked like the brave one, but at the moment she cowers, preferring to drink than to go over there and get a number. This is because she fears that if she goes over there, she will be rejected. She'd rather drink and perish, but before she can take another sip, Woo, who sees that her friend needs someone to bail her out, plans to save her. She acts all patriotic and gets up, declaring that she will drink on Seo's behalf. So is very happy to have another opportunity to drink, viewing her as a pro at drinking. Meanwhile, Seo stares at her like she is her hero. It looks like all's good until she has a whiff of the beer and realizes that she has made a terrible mistake. Even So can't continue because it can't tell whether that's beer or gutter water. Seeing that she can't drink and she has taken over Seo's burden, the fat senior suggests she go get Jaehyun's number so she'll be free. Unlike her best friend, Woo actually makes a move to get the number, walking towards their table while her guardian angel keeps firing questions at her. It knows she has never asked anyone for their number or seen a celebrity before, and this ends up causing her to start feeling nervous. Upon noticing this, he tries to calm her down by declaring that celebrities are just people after all. Its words motivate her to have courage and keep her cool, but when she tries to ask for the number and notices how handsome Jaehyun is, she feels like a squid head and goes quiet. She can't be blamed for her reaction, standing there until she is noticed and asked what the matter is. She couldn't respond, so his friend explained that she must be a freshman in the photography department who are having a party nearby. He's saved her the stress of an introduction, but she still has to tell them why she came to their table. She is trying her best to say it without panicking, but ends up yelling at the top of her voice, a request for her number. Jaehyun finds this funny. Meanwhile, his friend praises Woo for her bravery in trying to get his number. To save herself from more shame, she explains that she didn't ask for the number because she wasn't interested in him, but because she is playing a game. She suddenly realizes that she has said too much because she is drunk, but Jaehyun assures her it's okay. He can see she is drunk and advises her to take it easy on the drinks next time. But So knows that even if she is sober, she will still embarrass herself. She agrees, while standing there waiting for a number he isn't going to give her. He won't because he's a celebrity and all, but offers to sign something for her instead. His followers like the idea, praising him for being so kind. Meanwhile, Woo is feeling bad because she didn't even bring a paper when she came. When she returns to their table, one of her colleagues asks her how it went. He also wants to know if the guy is handsome up close, but all she does is cry as Seo comforts her and thanks her for saving her skin. Nevertheless, she begs them, pleading that they do not make her go get another number. As she pleads with them, we see that she didn't come back totally empty-handed. Jaehyun had signed a hand. When the ladies decide they've had enough partying for one night, they step out for a bit. It's quiet outside, and Woo has to leave a tipsy Seo to go get something that'll help her feel better. She requests for milk, and Woo plans on getting that, along with wipes to clean the marker stains on her hand. On her way to the store, she stumbles upon an intimate moment between Doyah and the girl he was with earlier. She can't help but exclaim in shock, alerting him of her presence, but he ignores her, leaving her to wonder if that's actually him. Eventually, she leaves them be and continues to the store, her face glowing bright red when she arrives. Her guardian angel, who refuses to let things slide, complains about how youngsters nowadays do freaky stuff in the streets. She ignores it, wondering why the room is so hot, but it keeps talking about what they just saw. The more Soso talks about it, the more uncomfortable she feels, until he pleads with her that she doesn't end up like those two. It also wants her to unsee everything. She assures it she is cool and it doesn't need to worry that much. Deep down, she knows she can't unsee that moment of intimacy. It was the guy who acted immature during her interview that looked so different just now. It's a lot, but she has to will herself to stop thinking about it by trying to remember why she came to the store in the first place. It's chocolate milk and wipes, costing 3,500 won, and she's lucky to have enough to get it and leave. Outside, on a very peaceful night, she finds Dio standing by the store, waiting for her. She tries to ignoring him and walks past like she doesn't recognize him, but he calls to her before she can make her escape. He then asks her if she liked watching them, seeing as she couldn't stop staring at them. This question makes her feel embarrassed, although it pisses Soso off. It advises Woo not to be afraid and speak her mind, and she does, blaming the fact that she saw everything on Doyah. She cautions him for going at it in public, unafraid that a child may have walked by. In response to all her whining, Doyah laughs, confused by what she is going on about. He claims he continued because it looked like she liked what she was witnessing, and claims that if anyone saw her, they'd think she was a pervert. Again, he calls her a pervert, but she retorts that he is the pervert. He disagrees before she advises him that it is good to cherish who he loves, and doing stuff like that outside isn't cherishing. He scoffs at that declaration and is about to say more when Seo interrupts them, complaining Woo left her all alone. She has to go attend to her, but before she leaves, she once again reminds him that he needs to cherish people. She then goes over to her friend to comfort her and give her milk to help with the tipsiness. Doyah, on the other hand, watched them, while dwelling on her words that he describes as lovely. He can't believe he was flustered around her the day they met and considers it his most humiliating defeat. He doesn't really understand what he is doing, but he leaves anyway while the friends remain, seated on the curb. Eventually, Seo gets a little relief and realizes that she went a little overboard with the drinking. Woo agrees, pointing out that it was that way because she lost almost all the games. About the final round, she claims that before her best friend stepped in and had to go get Jaehyun's number, but she claims that she is a true fan and will love him no matter what. She is about to give this very long speech when Woo suggests that if she wants to thank her, she should do so by taking her to an amusement park later on. She agrees and helps Woo clean the marker stains on her hand, so they head into their dorms. They are not 100% yet, when Jaehyun appears from out of nowhere. He arrives just in time to see them clean his signature and playfully complains about how they are cleaning it off so early. Woo assures him that she is only cleaning it because seniors teased her a lot. She apologizes, nonetheless, maintaining her cool while the brave one panics. She is taken aback by his presence, so she whispers into Woo's ear that he is handsome up close. True, but also funny, as she doesn't need to whisper, since the guy she is gossiping can hear her clearly. With her cover blown, she decides to face him and tells him that she is a big fan of his. She started rooting for him in one of his movies, The Love of the Sun and Moon, and sees him as the best actor ever. She claims she will love to learn from him her whole life, stuff that he is probably used to hearing by now. Nevertheless, he invites his friends to come party with him and his crew, as they are heading to his house to continue partying. Usually, the same people turn up for his parties, and he is sure his friends will like it if new faces come for this one. It's a tempting offer, but Woo-seo politely declines. Her reasons are that Seo is still drunk and their party isn't yet over. But Seo disagrees, claiming that she is sober and can handle another party. Jaehyun's friend, Yeon rams into their conversation to help talk the ladies into coming by telling them about an actor, a rapper, and some other well-known people that will be there. If they come, they can get autographs from these people, something Seo wants so much that she begs Woo-seo to agree, so they both go with him. She even talks down their freshman party, comparing it to a pajama party, just to convince her. The moment Jaehyun says the ladies don't have to tag along, if they have other plans, he looks shady. A more reason why Woo-seo knows she has to go with them is to prevent her friend from going alone with them. After all, these guys are strangers to them. For Seo's safety, she agrees, and they all leave for his house. However, before they leave the area, some freshmen spot them and identify the ladies with the celebrity. They wonder where they are going, but leave them be and head back inside to continue partying. Elsewhere, the best friends unwind at the celebrity party, but all Woo-seo can think about is how she saw Doyah kissing. Thinking about this leads her into a temptation she shouldn't have fallen for. A temptation that leads her into Jaehyun's room and leaves her in regret. But regret can't save her now. Proof of her deeds is all over her class group chat, along with the news of Jaehyun getting intimate with her. It's a lot, so let's go back to a few minutes after they were spotted leaving for the celebrity party. When the girls got to Jaehyun's house, Woo-seo marveled at how luxurious it was. But Seo wasn't too surprised. She expected this much from a guy whose parents are famous actors. Suddenly, she spotted the rapper, Unlimited Boy, whom Yeon talked about earlier. Immediately, she went to take pictures with him, leaving her best friend all alone. She didn't know what to do and considered having a drink or two while still keeping her eye on Seo. It took her some minutes to conclude that she is good at making friends and getting along with strangers. She sat there wondering if she should go over and talk to someone, but hesitated because she felt like the odd one out. Seeing her indecision, Seo came to her to comfort her and assured her that she didn't have to think much about trying to talk with them. She disagreed, however, pointing out that the place is filled with people she saw on TV. She regretted not dressing up more and began to sulk when it stepped in. It asked her if she was experiencing late puberty and offered to teach her how to catch everyone's eye. Maybe she was wrong to trust Seo, but at the time it felt like the best course of action. Lesson 1 was for her to hold a glass and stand by the window and declare that she was lonely and wished someone appreciated her and not her money. Woo-seo was confused, demanding an explanation, but Seo replied that it was teaching her its lonely rich man technique. Unfortunately for her, she tried out its little truck, pretending to be lonely and empty. It got worse when Jaehyun arrived just in time to catch her act. He sounded like he pitied her, but she was embarrassed and claimed she was kidding. He found that funny and asked if she was enjoying the night view before asking her about Seo's whereabouts. She asked him to get her some drinks, but suddenly disappeared by the time he was back. Worried, Woo-seo decided to call her, but got distracted when Jaehyun talked about how beautiful the full moon sky was. He claimed he liked his house because of the view, and even revealed to her that way back he lived there with his family. Often it felt too spacious for a person living a lot, but whenever he stared at the sky, it felt crowded. For a second, he looked sad, right before he put on a weak smile and declared that although he knew his friends were there for him, he felt alone sometimes. She didn't know celebrities could feel lonely, but frowned as she thought about that, making him feel like he said too much suddenly. To her, he didn't. She only reacted that way because she thought she understood what he was going through. When she was little, she lived with her family in a rural area with no one her age around. There weren't many buildings or streetlights, but the sky was clear. When she looked up to the sky, the stars were so bright that they lit it up, making her feel like someone was by her side. Looked like that was how her teddy became Seo. the spiritual being. She watched the stars with it back in then, and until now she is grateful that she always had Seo by her side whenever she felt alone. Since both of them appreciated the beauty of the night sky, he suggested that they drink whiskey and enjoy the view together. With that warm smile on his face, she was bound to agree. From drinking by the window, the pair moved to his room. He claimed he didn't like having guests over, so he had never let anyone into that room, but he was taking her there to show her the view from his room window. Staring out that window was like Throwback Thursday for her, reminding her of how it felt when she was a kid and stared at the sky with Seo to chase away her loneliness. They ended up talking for a long while enjoying the view, which surprised her. She didn't know conversations could go that smoothly, especially for them, since they lived in different worlds. Everything was going smoothly until their fingers touched and the air-conditioned room started to feel warm. Her heart was racing, plus his voice started sounding attractive. Even his hands felt sexy, which was why she started blushing, a reaction he noticed quickly. To Woo, he looked handsome. Meanwhile, to Jaehyun, she looked drunk. Soon, the thought of kissing someone came to her mind. She believed the universe was telling her it was her time, pushing her to ask him for a kiss that he didn't hesitate to give. This was the tale of how one kiss, inspired by her thoughts of Doyah and the girl earlier, led to an intimate moment. Luckily for her, before it could graduate to anything serious, Seo, who had been quiet throughout, stepped in. It felt it was too early for her to do the deed. It was her guardian, so it couldn't just stand there and watch her do it. Seo helped bring her back to reality, helping her stop Jaehyun before he could take things to the next level. Her hesitation led to him also coming back to reality, and he apologized for almost messing up. On the other hand, she apologized for running the mood, but he was fine with it. He then collapsed on his bed out of tiredness and a little bit of shame, tied to the fact that he suspected he didn't impress her. He usually felt insecure whenever he took off his clothes, but she assured him that he had a nice frame. She even called him super hot, a statement she wished she didn't make, but it looked like it made him blush. Soon after their little conversation, Jaehyun decided it was best he rest for a bit. The alcohol was making him drowsy and made him fall asleep holding her hand. For someone who was new to that kind of stuff, Woo felt they were dating. Holding hands and kissing was something she knew couples did after dating, but before she could answer the question of whether or not they were dating, drowsiness kicked in and she fell asleep too. In the morning, she was woken up by Seo's call and asked what the time was. Seo, who knew she had messed up, ignored that question and immediately began to apologize for leaving her alone. Curious, Woo wanted to know where she disappeared to last night. Turned out she was at the vet. Her dog had eaten something weird and she had to rush home and take him there. Concerned because she knew how much the dog meant to her, she asked how it was doing. Fortunately for her, it was doing okay, but she wanted to apologize for leaving Woo like that. She didn't want to tell Seo about her wild night, which was why, when she asked if she was home, she lied that she was. Actually, she was still in Jaehyun's room, wondering why he wasn't in bed. She guessed he was in the bathroom or something, but when the call ended, she decided it was best she left as quickly as possible. Later that morning, Seo scolded her for spending the night at Jaehyun's place and threatened to tell her late mother everything. To its surprise, she wasn't moved by the threat. She knew it couldn't talk to her mom even if it wanted and warned it to calm down. The previous day, she had learned nothing good came out of acting impulsively. Her reaction took its mind back to when she was a little girl, treating it with love, begging it to never leave her side. It got upset and accused her of changing, but she calmly explained that there's a difference between when she was a little girl with no friends and now. She also can't talk to it in public because when she did, back in high school, people thought she was crazy or talking to ghosts. That's how she ended up with no friends until graduation. She knew that if things continued that way, she wouldn't get a boyfriend, and she already had Jaehyun in mind. Seo could sense that, but lets it slide, focusing on how she wanted it to appear when she needed it. As her guardian angel, it was supposed to help her make friends, right? But her demand upset Seo even more. It didn't like the idea of being summoned when she needed it, even though it didn't try to nag or bother her. Well, she was already feeling like it was nagging at her. It's still complaining when she remembers she never actually got Jaehyun's number. In the end, she had to stop their little argument because she was late for class. To her, it was over. But when she wanted to leave, So refused to follow. Out of hurt, it promised her it wouldn't show up all day, if she could survive without it. She tried to reason with it, but it was all to no avail. And "I'm sorry" would probably have gone a long way. But instead of apologizing, she stormed out of the house, certain she could handle herself. Little did she know the troubles that lay before her at school. When she eventually arrived, she saw seniors and wondered if saying hi was the right thing to do. Eventually, she did, but got this cold reaction and a piece of advice to check the school group chat when she had time. It was at that moment it dawned on her that something was wrong. Everyone was talking about the leak that only she didn't know about, taking us back to the present. Everything is about to hit the fan on her first day on campus, but she cluelessly marches about until she spots Seo and other freshmen. They are probably new additions to the friend group that she forgot to tell Woo about. She had met them at orientation, and they bonded, reminding Woo how good she is with people. She introduces the new additions, a guy named Seo and a girl named Boyoung. They look like friendly people, and our girl gets the chance to have a chat with them, while her best friend goes to get her coffee. The trio get to talking, kicking things off by talking about how odd Woo's name is. They ask her for her family name, but she informs them that she doesn't have one. She just has a single-syllable name, a confession that silences the room and changes the vibe at the table. What follows is a question on whether or not she is in their department, the photography department. This revelation worsens the vibe in the room even more, but an oblivious Woo wonders if Boyoung is reacting this way because her last name is also So. Before they know it, Seo returns with the coffee, guessing they must have had a lot of fun without her. While they discuss, Woo thinks about So. She thought not having it around would cause her trouble. With the way she sees it, she worries for nothing and hopes to befriend these people. After a bit, her thoughts drift to the seniors and their odd behavior. She couldn't check what they were talking about because she was rushing for class, but now she is curious. As she thinks about that, she doesn't notice Seo and the others checking something a few steps away. It looks like it's the leak, especially because of the way Seo reacts when she sees it. She then turns to Woo, staring at her in shock, leaving her confused about the look. Before she knows it, Seo gets up and pulls her away as fast as she can. Throughout the time, she keeps asking what's going on, until they get to the lavatory. On getting there, Seo asks her if anything happened last night. Immediately, she tries her best to avoid eye contact with Seo. Her best friend still doesn't give up, maintaining that firm gaze until she confesses to making out with Jaehyun. Right now, it's not something she is ashamed of, but rather something she is shy about. She supposedly feels bad for making out with her best friend's favorite actor, confessing that she didn't know how to tell her the truth. Her confession dumbfounds Seo. She can't believe this is what Woo is worried about when she has bigger problems. She doesn't know what's going on, but is stunned when she is informed that there is news all over about her sleeping with Jaehyun. Although the picture didn't show her face clearly, the person who posted it added that it was a freshman with a single-syllable name from their department. Those are traits only she possesses, hence the reason why everyone thinks it's her. Maybe she'll be needed so sooner than expected. Still, the news doesn't affect her timetable, leaving her to head for class and not be able to focus during it. She's trying to maintain her cover, plus her head is all over the place. With every passing second, she had the urge to check the post out, but Seo had warned her not to do so. Her strength could only take her so far, until she loses it all and checks out the comments. Some people felt she seduced the actor, others commented on how ordinary she looked, and some suggested she drop out. It's a lot, but why is everyone trolling her and ignoring the second person in the picture? I'm sure she regrets checking the post. Meanwhile, Seo is currently in the business of trying to save her. Firstly, she meets up with Jaehyun's best friend. His name is Moon Daegyu, but she mispronounces it, causing him to correct her the fourth time. She might have forgotten his name, but he didn't forget hers along with her department. Whatever it is, she wraps up the introduction and asks him if he has heard from Jaehyun. Daegyu, catches on quickly and asks if she wants to discuss the Wonso issue with him. That's the plan. Even so, she gets fired, threatening to find and destroy the person who leaked it. She is furious because the person lied they slept together when they didn't. All of a sudden, he tugs on his collar and smiles mischievously, claiming the news is actually true. He feels that way because, apparently, Jaehyun told him they slept together. The Jaehyun she knew couldn't tell a lie like that. At another part of campus, at a later time, he finally arrives at school, with his presence gathering a swarm of people to him. News of his arrival got to Daegyu, who came to talk to him about schoolwork. Before they finish talking, Seo steps in, demanding to speak with him. When they are alone, he asks what she wants to talk about, like he doesn't know about the picture. Sadly, she notices a change in his voice and vibe. She still goes ahead to say what she has to say, asking him if he wants to date Wonso. He looks after that question, scream he doesn't care about her like he claimed, asking her why she wants to know and what business she has with his plans for her friend.
On the other hand, in a bid to get to her date with Jaehyun on time, Wonso didn't notice that she abandoned Seo with Dae-oh. Now that they are alone, her friend observes him, recalling that Wonso claimed that under his Batman-ish vibe is a nice guy she would love to introduce him to. Well, now she has the chance to get to know him a bit if she wants. Through all, she is aware that he and Wonso are close because she is usually shy around others but not around Doyah. The hot barista, on the other hand, has no intention of getting to know Seo, so he gets up, announcing his intention to leave. He doesn't know she has other plans until she brings up the news of the hot barista that popped up on Doyah acts like he doesn't know what's up, knowing fully well that a while back he started the rumor himself. He spread it some minutes after he blurred everyone's memory. The time, he needed something else to occupy the rumor-hungry minds of his schoolmates, and starting that flame himself was the best he could think of. No one knows he was the mastermind behind it, so he keeps it that way. Watching is slightly discomfort as Seo praises him, calling him the hot timer and claiming it's a pleasure to meet him. He concludes she is trying to make fun of him, but she assures him she isn't, before addressing how his nonchalance towards attending classes will get him kicked out of school. Honestly, he doesn't care. He's been in university for 20 years and plans on dropping out anyway. Nevertheless, he avoids eye contact like he is trying to dodge the question or the conversation in general. That's a mistake he makes, as it only pushes Seo to invite him to a meeting at the cafe later. She can tell from his attitude that he doesn't have friends and wants to introduce him to some other people in their department. Doyah is clearly not in support of this idea, but she drags him along regardless. Meanwhile, the lovebirds, still on their way to the place they'll be chilling, are busy discussing. Jaehyun tells Wonso that they will soon arrive at the venue. She isn't listening, however, observing the sea and how beautiful it is. We all know she's excited about this date, but aside from that, she really loves the sea even though she hasn't been there often. He is glad she is excited, trying to ride that wave and act charming when he teases her about this date being her first beach date. First beach date? It's her first date ever. Maybe that's why her heart is beating so fast it feels like it wants to explode. The excitement is killing her right now, increasing as they arrive at the site. It's a beautiful scene, and Wonso doesn't fail to announce that, allowing Jaehyun to add that fewer people than usual visit it nowadays. Aside from its beauty, the winds are so strong that our girl has to watch her dress to prevent any unplanned memories. In no time, the pair are ready, heading gracefully to the beach as Wonso complains about failing to bring her camera. She loves taking photos, remember? Jaehyun assures her that all hope is not lost. They have their phones and will have to make do with that. With that problem solved, the next thing he does is hit a Tom Cruise pose and charmingly invite her to go on a walk with him before lunch. It's a kind gesture, and with the way he looks at her, it's hard for her to refuse, so she quickly agreed and they began their walk. During the walk, however, the wind gets stronger, almost revealing the hidden areas of Wonso's gown. Fortunately for her, she is quick to hold it down, but that didn't stop Jaehyun from seeing too much skin and spacing out for a second. Still, this is an opportunity for Wonso's Prince Charming, and he takes it, asking her if she feels uncomfortable because of the strong wind. She does, but promises him she'll be okay when she wraps her shirt around her waist. Even after her suggestion, he asks her to wait, claiming that if she uses her shirt she will catch a cold. He then hurries off, leaving her bewildered, wondering if she overdid it with the outfit and is causing him trouble. She is still deep in thought when Jaehyun hurries back. He returns with a scarf and offers to wrap it around her. It's a slick move, so slick that he has Wonso letting him wrap the scarf around her while staring at him in awe. She concludes he must have run so hard to and fro and believes he is really sweet for going this far for her. Now that she is properly clothed, they decide to take pictures and it's going great until Wonso starts to panic. For someone who loves taking pictures, it's weird that she doesn't like being in a picture. Jaehyun doesn't mind, however, advising her to act naturally, so the picture goes great. Still, she can't help but laugh at herself for feeling awkward now. To ease her a bit, he promises her that the way she is feeling is normal, but if she gets photographed often, she will get used to it. She takes it as a tip from an actor, right before her shoe starts feeling uncomfortable, interrupting the mood, so she takes them off and runs to the sea happily. Our girl is feeling free as a bird right now, asking Jaehyun to watch her, seeking to know if he is jealous. Honestly, he isn't jealous. He is rather lost in the moment, observing her keenly. After a bit, he takes off his shoes and joins her at the bank, and views the beautiful setting skies with her. Wonso, unwilling to let this moment pass without capturing it, pulls out her phone and takes a few shots, followed by some shots of Jaehyun that she steals. Shockingly, in the process of stealing the shots, she notices that he seems different from usual, focusing on him until he catches her in the act. Now, he goes back to his usual self, posing for another picture, after which he asks to see all she has taken. From afar, they look like a real couple, not two kids brought together by a scandal. Their vibe is so natural as they go through the pictures together, stumbling upon a photo of him getting attacked by a bird. For some reason, he wants to delete it, but she disagrees, trying her best to keep the phone away from him, even though now she is feeling more nervous than she was after their first kiss. She argues wholeheartedly that the picture is really cute, eventually getting off the hook when she promises to delete the picture later. Her soberness when she agrees with him, pushes him to take the L and let her keep the photo. After enjoying a good time on the sand, they decide to rinse their legs and go grab a meal. To keep up his charm, Jaehyun offers to help her with the rinsing, but she refuses out of embarrassment. She wants to do it herself, but he reminds her of their first night together. Truly, that's nothing compared to him seeing her feet. Realizing this, she lets him help her out, baffled by how kind he is and wondering if he really cares about her. If he does, we'll all find out later. For now, they settle down to finally have a meal. During the meal, they continue talking, giving her the opportunity to tell him about her part-time job. She complains about how hard it is to make coffee and even tells him that she is working with Doyah. She doesn't fail to add that the guy is very funny, which is news to Jaehyun. He is clearly surprised that Wonso and Doyah are friends from work, and his behavior lets her know the two guys have some history. According to Jaehyun, they got to know each other because his parents and Doyah's uncle are acquaintances. Added to that, he warns her to be careful around him, declaring that he is not your average guy. He doesn't know she is aware as a demon, probably because she asks him what he means by Deo not being average. He brushes off the question regardless, claiming she should keep her guard up just in case. That aside, he quizzes her on whether or not Doyah knows about their rumor. That's when she freezes. Last she checked, Doyah handled the rumor by erasing everyone's memory, so why does Jaehyun still know about it? Thinking of Doyah, the poor demon is with the lively Hi Seo, a date worse than hell right now. Poor guy had one too many drinks and is obsessing over Wonso, while Hi Seo tries to get him to join them for a third round of shots. Eventually she stops, realizing that he's completely wasted, so she escorts him out. While doing that, God forbid she remains silent. She always has something to say, considering now is the best time to tell Doyah to treat Wonso well. She doesn't fail to add that Wonso is her best friend and now he and she are automatically friends too. Right now he is too stoned to pay attention to all that but focuses on a bottle of booze on one of the tables. He takes the bottle, muttering something about giving the bottle to someone before staggering away with it. Hi Seo, baffled by what he has done, apologizes to the people he has deprived of their drink. They assure her it's okay nevertheless, as the bottle was empty anyway. Doyah, still strolling away, is so stoned that he is recalling a distant memory about a time when he was happy. A time when he shared drinks with some damsel he called Lady Yun, who loved to drink and wasn't affected by the booze. She was a girl who puzzled him and also mocked him for his poor tolerance of alcohol. It looked like he and this Yun were romantically inclined, teasing each other repeatedly before he planted a kiss on his lips. From their friendly chatter, it was clear that Deo were indeed in a relationship and wanted to marry her, but her father didn't like him. He even hated him having anything to do with her, but she was sure they could work something out. After all, to Yun, her father valued gambling more than he valued her. With that in mind, she planned to pay him off and leave home, which sounded like a reasonable plan, one that got them getting all intimate afterwards. After getting intimate, they settled down to talk some more. But it was getting late, and Doyah advised Yun to start heading home so. She refused, however, reluctant to go back to her normal life when she could continue living in Dream World with him. She even joked about them chilling together forever, but warned that he would have to bring a bottle of liquor and snacks. She claimed that the only reason why she was going to head back was that they had run out of those things. That aside, she liked the drink he brought her and she begged him to bring her any tasty liquor he found in future. Of course, he teased her because of her drinking habit and noted how warm her body was, so he wanted to stay like that forever. Well, in the end, they all went back to their normal lives, leaving peacefully without seeing each other for a while. That was because Doyah hadn't visited the village in a while, but he thought about her daily. He was even thinking about her when his master arrived from a long journey. He expressed shock concerning the early arrival and was stunned to hear he rushed back because he got good liquor. He explained all the steps involved in brewing it, with the hopes that he would come back for it later, but Doyah had other ideas. Lady Yun did say he was to get her tasty liquor in future, and at the time he saw none as tasty as his master's liquor. He then took it and rushed into the village with hopes that he would give it to his lady, a pleasant memory. But why is he thinking about it now, looking so depressed as he lay on the floor wasted? His uncle, unsurprised to see him this way, takes away the bottle of liquor. It's commonplace for him to come home with liquor after taking much more than he can handle. It's because he has so much pain and his uncle tries to help him forget all his pain. He is aware this will leave him feeling a bit empty, wandering for some time, but he concludes that wandering is what's best for him now. Elsewhere, Won-seo and Jaehyun conclude their date with him dropping her off at her place. She thanks him for the ride and is about to head off when he stops her to tell her he had fun today. She feels the same way, but before he leaves, he switches on his charm one last time and asks her to give what he asked her earlier some more thought. They end their conversation when he tells her he'll see her at school and leaves, allowing her to head home to Soso, who is mad she came back so late after leaving it all alone and went on a date. Starts nagging her, complaining about everything including her dressing, which it considers to be inappropriate. Nonetheless, she is not in the mood for nagging and begs Soso to back off since she is beat. Her guardian angel, after seeing her collapse on the bed, hurries to console her, assuming the date went badly. But she assures it their date was all good and exciting. It has left her considering the option of dating Jaehyun. This is too much for Soso to process at the moment. Let's go a few hours back, a few seconds after Jaehyun asked about Doyah and the rumor. She lied she didn't know if Doyah was aware of the rumor, and he then wanted to know if he could visit the cafe sometime. His reason was that he wanted to taste the coffee she made, and that was fine with her. Later, when it was time to go, she was already in the car, patiently waiting for him to drive her back home when he got an important call. Everything was normal at first, until he asked her to get him a notebook. While trying to show her the notebook he was talking about, they got too close for comfort. It was like a perfectly planned scene, even though it happened naturally. However, fortunately for them, the caller interrupted what would have been a makeout session. He apologized to the caller for the delay, penned down what he had to, and returned to Won-seo. She was still flustered because of the closeness earlier, and he decided to address that. He started by claiming he thought their first night together was fueled by them being drunk, and that made him feel they wouldn't blend well together. Nevertheless, after their date, he kept having the urge to kiss her. Won-seo was probably thinking the same, so she closed her eyes and braced herself for impact, acting like she was in control, until they were inches away from each other and the little girl in her kicked in, pushing her to duck out. Once more, she left Jaehyun hanging, which made him feel like he was moving too fast. Won-seo assured him he wasn't, but he tried to make himself feel better by claiming the rejection was cool since they weren't dating. She didn't buy that excuse and decided to open up to him, explaining that the reason why she was nervous about kissing him was because of how anxious the last time had left her. It was her first kiss and what she thought about most of the time. She went on to praise his smoothness and confessed to coming on this date just to be sure her feelings for him were genuine. She was torn between whether she loved him genuinely or whether she loved him because he was her first kiss, and that got him thinking. He suddenly has a sinister smile on his face, like he wanted to play with her. Maybe he wanted to use the fact that he was her first kiss to his advantage. In the end, he declared that they should go on another date, after which she would tell him if she liked him and wanted to date him. Back home, Wonso can't get her mind off the date, suddenly feeling so lively that she decides to take a shower. In the shower, she considers dating Jaehyun after they go on another date, and her thoughts begin to skyrocket. First, she pictures the date, then she pictures the buzz that will arise from her being the girlfriend of such a famous celebrity. Her thoughts flew to the point that she visualized them getting married. Unfortunately for her, in her deep thinking, Doyah appears to interrupt the marriage, accusing her. His interruption and destruction of her marriage is what got her waking up, screaming, "Don't ruin my wedding!" She realized it was all a dream and headed to the cafe for work. At the cafe, she is greeted by Doyah, who asks about the date. Before we get into whatever tantrum the demon would throw, don't y'all wonder what was on Jaehyun's mind after he parted ways with Wonso that night? Well, that night, while observing her leave, he could tell she knew about Doyah's true nature. Her reaction when he asked about the rumor said everything. Also, it seemed like Doyah had used his demonic power of wishes. That being said, he didn't understand why Doyah would reveal himself to a human. She became a person of interest to him because, despite the memory obliteration ads posted by the Alliance, her memory was intact. He wondered if she was not human or just a special case like him. If she were a supernatural, she was probably an unregistered supernatural because he hadn't seen her at the Alliance. Maybe she was a human who acquired powers, but the chances of that were 1 in a million. That's because the natural emergence of power had not been heard of for 100 years. In his car, he smiled at the possibility of Wonso being a supernatural and the fact that she might be the key he needed to his plans. He went sinister, smirking because he hoped they ended up dating. Looks like he isn't even interested in her because of love, but because of what he thinks he can get from her. Oh, the drama. Well, back to our demon lover boy who wants to know how the date went. Wonso is reluctant to answer that, pointing out that his voice sounds off. For some reason, he explains to her that he sounds this way because he had a lot of drinks last night. The confession sparks her interest, prompting him to complain about his time with Seo. He can't believe Wonso left him with her, but she dodges the guilt trip, recalling that Seo mentioned going out with friends. She is glad he went with her and sees this as them getting along like besties. Besties? Nah, he has no interest in that and wants nothing to do with Seo, but he does want the scoop on Wonso's date. Counting the date only reminds her of the warning Jaehyun gave her concerning Doyah. He claimed the guy was not an average guy, so she asks him if it's okay for people to know he is a demon. Doyah gives her a firm no, declaring that if some crazy person found out he was a demon, they'd capture him and keep him for wish-granting purposes. That's not the life he wants to live, and the thought of him being bound granting wishing sends a chill down Wonso's spine. From her reaction, Doyah can tell something is wrong and demands to know who she leaked his secret to. He suspects she said something to Seo, but she makes it clear she didn't say anything to anyone. But even if she did, it's okay. He lets her know that the Alliance handle memory obliteration and will take care of stuff like that even if they can't take care of it all. To Wonso, this alliance is something she is just hearing about, and she is double stunned to hear that they erase memories. Now God forbid Deo stays silent about this secret organization. He is proud to tell her that the Alliance is a place where people like him gather. He advises her to use her phone less because they do memory obliteration with ads. Now Wonso starts to panic. Could her memories be erasers too? Is the big question, but he halts the conversation, ordering her to wipe the tables and divide the fruits so they have to get ready to open. She heeds his command, cleaning while giving him the eyes because he isn't helping her. He is rather focused on his phone, which pisses her off the more. Finally, she sits out, demanding to know why his memory isn't wiped when he is on the internet 24/7. Doyah has had enough of her questions, replying that he won't answer any more because she doesn't answer his. He's bringing it back to his question earlier about the date, which she ignored. That pisses Wonso off, so she scolds him for wanting to know about her love life, acting serious, but that didn't bother him. For all he cares, she could either answer his question or spend the rest of her life wondering about what she asked him. It didn't matter to him that she was getting worked up because of one date, and that moved her to tell him about it, in exchange for an answer to a question. What question? You may ask, well, she wants to know what a person must be for them to know he is a demon. He can tell she is asking this because of Jaehyun. Regardless, he answers the question, informing her that for someone to know he is a demon, that person may be one exposed to supernatural power for a long time, like her and her guardian angel, or they might be supernatural beings. He has held his end of the bargain and wants her to hold hers, asking again how the date went. He concludes it went terribly and she was clumsy and ruined it. She stomps on that comment, sharing with him that the date went well. They went to the beach and he was such a gentleman. Once more, she finds herself drifting away, lost in thoughts of her Prince Charming's kindness, wondering what type of being he is. From her point of view, he is probably an angel or a fairy, and there should be more supernaturals than she thought. Right now, she feels telling him about So-So is a good idea, believing it's kinship she feels when it is actually her being blinded by love. She is so deep in her mushy thoughts that she can't hear Doyah calling out to her, reminding her that she promised to give him an answer. She just tells him that the date was fine, but he is unimpressed, annoyed that she is holding back the sauce, so he punishes her by ordering her to stack the frozen orders. He warns her not to come out until she is done, leaving her stunned. Jaehyun, on the other hand, is on the set. He probably just finished acting a scene and the director asks them to take 5. During the break, his makeup artist gets to work while acting nosy, wanting to know what happened on Friday that made him cancel his schedule. Ordinarily, he kept to his schedules. To everyone's surprise, he drops what might be the next big story. He had a date. Wow, he stole the room with that confession, and everyone wants gist about who the lucky girl is. They honestly think she is his girlfriend, but he bursts their bubble, leaving them to ponder who the prospect is. They conclude she is lucky, showering this two-faced man with kind comments, wishing more people would be like him. This calls back a memory of the day he fought at school. His mother, being the angel she was, advised him to refrain from hitting humans. He wasn't like them, and she wanted him to hide his true identity from them by acting kind and gentle. He was the child of an angel, so he needed to act like one. Yet young Jaehyun didn't agree. He hated humans because they were weak and incompetent, which was why he saw no need to be gentle with them. Apart from the entire human race, which disgusted him, he was sure the person he hit deserved it. 'Cause sometimes, according to him, humans needed to be taught lessons with intimidation. He felt they needed to know he wasn't on the same level as them. His mother remained fixed, and explained to him that little humans make mistakes that are trivial and should be overlooked. That was why he wanted to be sent to the school of the Alliance. He wanted nothing to do with humans, and his mother had had enough. To convince him he was in the wrong, she took him to the mirror. She asked him to take a good look at himself, repeating all the things he said humans were before revealing to him that he was also a human. She explained that she was raising him the way her parents raised her. They focused on treating all humans like they were their children and needed to be cared for. She used his own words to lecture him on the need to treat humans well. In the end, her message fell on deaf ears. He still regretted being human and was determined to change that. In the present, he acknowledges his mom for shaping his personality. She is known for her bright personality, and they agree before refocusing on the girl he went out with and how lucky she is. The vibe stays bright, at least until some girl walks in, commanding the room with her presence and demanding to know who he went on a date with. The girl's name is Hannah, and she seems very popular around these parts. From the look on Jaehyun's face, he knows she came for something serious. Still, her presence here certifies the rumor that the two of them are close. For no reason, she asserts that they have been close since childhood and even share the same birthday. Nevertheless, for now, she wants to know all about this date. Cafe Wonso wants to clock out, letting her boss know before she does so. The witch lady is sure today was hard on them, commending Wonso for her hard work, before asking if she and Doyah fought. He has been more sour than usual, but he refuses to accept that, declaring that he has always been this gloomy. His bad mood is even visible to Wonso, who hardly notices anything. Since they are already gossiping, her boss wants to know what she'll be up to after work. She is particular, however, about knowing if she had any dates today, but she doesn't. She just wants to eat before heading to a cafe to work on assignments. Her boss, upon hearing this, cheerfully offers her the comfort of her bar. She claims it's quieter than a cafe and her cat could whip them up a meal, since they have never tasted his cooking. Princess, knowing Wonso is aware of his true form, winks at her cheekily. Everything is covered, still she feels like she is intruding and wants to be sure she can stay here, taking customer seats. For today, her boss doesn't mind. That's because right now normal humans can't come in, meaning they will be attending to supernaturals. While Won-so now has a place to chow and do homework, Doyah just wants to go home. He is completely out of it today, rejecting their boss's offer for him to stay back for a meal. It looks like nothing can change his mind, until she asks him if he will really turn down Princess's special spicy stew, his favorite. Spotting the chef work his art in the kitchen is enough to hold Doyah back, and once it's done, he digs in like a man on a mission. Won-so, on the other hand, is more focused on Princess than she is on her meal, seeking to know if he is a cat or a man. Well, he's a domestic cat, but she calls him Princess because she didn't know he was a male cat when they first met. Surprisingly, her take doesn't end there, there's more to it. More like how his real name is. Pyongyang. Won-so, being the smart girl she is, knows that according to the folktale, if Princess's real name is Pyongyang, then her boss's name is Ondol. Furthermore, she gets the feeling that they are a couple, but before she can ask if they are, Doyah interrupts her. In a lively tone, he demands for another bowl of rice, but in a murderous tone, Princess warns him to serve himself. Fast forward to later that evening, Won-so is going through photos she took on her date. Doyah strolls by and asks about them, so she tells him she was thinking of editing and printing them. It's a shame she didn't take her camera along. She really loves the sea and hopes to visit the winter beach someday. Doyah has heard about a winter beach before, but can't point out where he heard it from. Still, he doesn't bring it up. Instead, he commends the pictures she took. They are good shots to him, but she knows they would have been better if taken with a film camera. He has no idea what a film camera is, which moves her to walk down memory lane with him. They stroll back together, revisiting a time when she was little and she used to play with her father's old camera instead of toys. She says it was hard at first, dropping more and more details about the memory, but he just stares at her, smiling sheepishly at his cute she is being cute, not even listening to a word she is saying. When she is done, she asks for his opinion on photography, but the question catches him off guard. Since she doesn't know he had phased out, she repeats her question, asking him why he chose photography. I mean, he is in her department and that's what it's mostly about. Now that he thinks about it, he has no other reason than the alliance made him attend the school, allowing him to join any department he chose. Fortunately for him, he's also a smooth criminal, preventing himself from saying much by asking to see more pictures she took. His plan works, but it definitely pisses him off to see a picture of Jaehyun pop up next. He is surprised these photos were taken on their date and scoffs at the pairing of an actor and a photographer. He tags them as show-offs, but all that matters to Won-so is that the pictures turned out well. She is thinking of developing them and notes that random shots look good. She now understands why everyone wants a good model. They have this portrait assignment at school and she knows that using a model like Jaehyun is like cheating because he is already good-looking. Doyah, because of her crazy idea, asks her if she is rich or something, as that's the only way she would be able to afford the fee Jaehyun would charge her for being her model. Won-so is bummed to hear this, but Doyah has an idea: she can use him as her model. He doesn't mind going shirtless, as long as she is going to buy him a delicious meal. Would she take his offer? Would she not? We don't know, but offering to take off his shirt makes her see him as a pervert. Now, back to Jaehyun and Hannah, whom he seems to despise as he publicly pushes her away from him. He then announces that although they were close as kids, they aren't that close now. They just see each other because their parents are friends. He tries to act politely as he dismisses her, leaving to go get a change of clothes for his next shoot, annoying her in the process. Hannah, although his attitude pisses her off, she sticks around, waiting for him until he changes and returns. He is annoyed to see her, wanting to know why she didn't leave. He doesn't know why she is still here when she didn't like being linked with him back then. Well, she isn't here for him, she confesses. She is here because their birthday are close and they need to plan something. He makes it clear that he is not interested in the party, only to change his mind when he hears it's a party by the Alliance. Hannah informs him that she had asked the Alliance about throwing them a party, because she wanted both of them to be celebrated equally. She is really happy about the idea of them celebrating with their people, but he doesn't know how to react to this. He knows Hannah well. She is a member of a popular idol group, and her stunning looks and amazing singing abilities got her the nickname an idol from the gods. What they don't know is that she is a supernatural, not like Doyah or Jaehyun's mom. She is actually the daughter of a werewolf couple at the Union. Werewolves were different from the gifted species like demons or angels, which are born from natural phenomena. They actually changed by moonlight because of biological events. Sadly, the number of recent births had reduced because of society's civilization. The Yineng Union, aware of this issue, decided to hunt for a way to increase their numbers biologically and was able to establish a stable breeding between their kind. Hannah is one of those creations, born on the same day as the offspring of two angels, Jaehyun. This rare phenomenon is the reason why he spent a lot of time with Hannah as a kid. Back then, all she wanted to do was play with him, but he kept things formal and refused to be childish. I think he is a bit jealous of her because while he struggled to gain the acceptance of the alliance, she didn't, receiving love from its members instantly. Even as kids, she knew she had the upper hand and always used that against him. At a point, she joked about marriage, but he made it clear that he wanted to have nothing to do with her. He resented her, irritated by her smile because she grew up with so much love. I wonder how our boy is the son of two angels and still managed to have a demon's heart. After all that heat from the past, she comes here today wanting a joint birthday celebration. Something is definitely up and Jaehyun knows it. He wants to know what she is scheming, yet she assures him she just wants them to celebrate their birthday together. She had given him rejecting her all these years some thought and still waves it off to celebrate with him, because the union listens to her. His mom is also in on the plan, but she wonders why she has never thrown a birthday party for him. Hannah knows how much Jaehyun loves the union, and even though he wants to turn down her offer because of the many gray areas, he decides to play along. After all, this could be a good opportunity for him to get straight with the alliance, invite Doyah, and also to find out Wonso's true identity. Seeing him think about her offer a little lets her know he is okay with it, so she advises him to come wearing something nice. Doing so will get them proper comments from the media, which is an added benefit among other things they stand to gain. I smell jealousy looming, especially when Wonso sees the pair together. Regardless, we will cross that bridge when we get there. For now, he wants her out of his room so he can change. He doesn't care that she hasn't carried her bag, locking her outside and allowing her to bang on the door, desperately begging to be let in. Yet in that position, he sends a DM to Wonso, inviting her on another date. Well, it looked like it was him who sent the message, but it's actually a chat on her group chat about a group meeting. She is stressed at the moment because of schoolwork, and her aunt notices how stressed she looks and asks if school is causing her to worry. She doesn't hesitate to let out her problems, complaining that she is the team leader of the group and one of the members doesn't even read the group messages. She is almost the youngest in the group, and her aunt sees this as everyone abandoning work for the youngest. Till all this is boring, she wants to know if anything interesting is happening at school, specifically if she has a crush or something like that. Actually, there is. She went on a date. She lets her aunt know the guy is handsome, cool, and fun, but she doesn't know what liking or loving someone feels like. That's when memories of Wonso growing up flash in her mind. Not minding the knife in her hand, she runs over to Wonso, assuring her that her mother would be proud of how much she's grown. Like her mom was a lover girl, and she remembers the face she made the day she fell in love. Her face was bright red and she had a smile on it for the entire day. She'd always mention the guy she loved in all her conversations. It was a happy time for her, but also the most challenging time of her life. That's because it led to the birth of Wonso, but in all, it was love. Wonso can guess this story has to do with her birth, and her aunt agrees, adding that it's nice to be in a relationship with someone nice. If she ends up dating the guy, she wants her to bring him to her so she can scrutinize him. Anyway, she wants to talk about her mother's memorial rites, seeking to know if she has made time for it. She wants her to tell her mother about the type of guy she is going out with. She had a nice time with her aunt, I'd say, only to be caught in a bind a few days later, when she is at the group meeting with a weird group member. She is begging the Lord for a way out of this terrible position, and her prayers are answered in no time when a lady from the group arrives. Doesn't take her too long, however, to realize that it's the girl Doyah was making out with a while back. Her weird coursemate welcomes her with open arms, and Wonso does the same, but she responds with a hard glare that makes Wonso feel uneasy. She doesn't know why she is looking at her that way, and it gets worse when she tells her to scoot over so she can sit. Once she is settled, she introduces herself as Young Cherry, a second-year student of the photography department. She apologizes for not attending the first meeting, blaming it on some issues that came up. She is here now, regardless, and wants to know where the last person is. When Wonso tells her he hasn't read the messages, Cherry suggests they leave him out because he isn't the type of person who reads group messages, so they should leave him out. Wonso, who is a freshman, finds it hard to do that, but Cherry is uncomfortable with getting the same grade as her without putting any effort. She needs an A to keep up with her scholarship, so she wants anyone who becomes a nuisance to be reported to her. If Wonso can't boot the person, she will do it herself. If Wonso ends up being a problem, she would be excluded too because Cherry is aiming for the top and wants it even if she has to work alone to get it. Her bold assertions make her look scary. Wonso promises to do her best and try not to be a nuisance herself. That's fine with Cherry, but she seems to recognize Wonso, who doesn't fail to remind her that they met at the freshman's welcome party. That's all she needs to remember. She is Doyah's friend and she looks forward to working with her. Wonso feels the same, tagging her as cool and pretty, giving Doyah his flowers for dating a girl this hot. Wasting no further time, she gets down to the project, leaving Wonso shocked by how serious she is, coming here with soft copy research when she came with some writings scribbled in her notepad. She presents that nonetheless, and they flow fluently until they ask for Woo-hyuk's comment. That mistake leads to a brawl between the two, leaving Wonso stuck in the middle. Their meeting ends without any settlement and Wonso continues with her life, until after her class when she goes through the project group chat. She notices that once more, Cherry is taking charge. Because of how capable she seems, she is tempted to let her take over as team leader. Aside from that, she feels depressed because of the fight between Woo-hyuk and Cherry that has left him refusing to participate in group activities. It's all hell for her, but Doyah doesn't know that when she steps in wanting to know if they'll still do the shoot for her assignment. She has helped brighten her day by showing up in class today and they head for the site where they take the pictures at. On their way out, they are intercepted by a suspicious-looking man who stops Wonso, pushing Doyah to hit defense mode and shove the man away. He is about to throw punches when Jaehyun reveals it's him and questions him for reacting like he is Wonso's boyfriend. Doyah fires back immediately, declaring that he only reacted that way because of the shady way he approached them. He tries to sound like this has nothing to do with emotions, but ends up trying so hard that Wonso has to step in and caution him for being so serious. Jaehyun agrees with her, confessing he is glad there is nothing between them. The smooth criminal uses this opportunity to sound even more charming, claiming he almost got jealous because of his reaction. Wonso believes him, but Doyah sees through his lie, saying nothing as he watches them talk about their next date. He is trying his best to keep his emotions in check, but there is so much he can take before he steps in wanting to know why she addresses him, especially when they aren't in the same department. He is visibly jealous and Jaehyun plays with that, even offering to do the shoot for her instead of Doyah. Although Doyah holds his spot Wonso's model, suggesting they head out now because he has to work part-time later. As he leaves with her, he and Jaehyun glare at each other, their hate for each other littered all over the place. Sighed, she discovers he was lying about working part-time. She demands to know why he lied, but to him there is nothing wrong with a demon lying. True, but he is acting oddly today, which is unlike him. Then there's the look on his face that almost makes it look like he is jealous. For a second she dwells on this thought, but shakes it off soon enough. She mistakes Jaehyun's cheap comment about almost getting jealous earlier and uses that to will herself to stay focused on Jaehyun. Poor girl decides to disregard Doyah and probably stay away from him until her relationship with Jaehyun is certified. Even so, there was a time she locked lips with him, leaving her embarrassed, rushing off rudely to save herself from the guilt. Doyah doesn't get why she is being rude and tries to stop her, but she is too pissed to listen. Her thoughts are centered on making sure she never asks Doyah for any more wishes or does anything to get Jaehyun to doubt her loyalty. For today that she is stuck with Doyah, she plans on focusing on nothing more than the shoot. Sadly, after promising him a meal in exchange for the shoot, she spends more than she budgeted on that meal, leaving her pocket weeping. Next, they go to the place where they'll be having the shoot at. It's a dorm, but now it's a studio and she got the space because of Seo's connections. Without delay, she starts setting up for the shoot, only to discover that Doyah came without spare clothes. The guy plans to do the shoot with what he has on, but because of her, he decides to take the shoot shirtless. Wonso is against it. Even after Doyah explains he wants to go shirtless to seduce the viewers, she persuades him to stick with taking the photos with his clothes on. They drag a little but begin the shoot afterwards, riding with it smoothly until he starts laughing for some reason. When she asks what's so funny, he teases her for not being as passionate as she is at the cafe as she is when it comes to photography. She retorts, firing back that she is diligent at the cafe as well. Nonetheless, that's not what's on her mind right now. Right now her focus is on the photos and she scolds him for posing badly. She fears for her grades, so he volunteers to boost them by taking things to the next level. Next level to him is a hot bathtub pose that she warns him against. Whatever, he's the model and refuses to let her tell him how to model. Pictures from that point are grand, still going smoothly until she feels there's a need to take a picture from above and steps into the tub. He's slightly tempted and feeling uncomfortable, but maintains his cool until the shoot is finally over. For bonus purposes, she hurries out to get a film camera to take a pic or two. But reflex makes him stop her. She demands to know why he stopped her, and he voices out an inquiry, seeking to know if she thinks Jaehyun would have done better at modeling than him. Annoyed, she accuses him of asking that out of jealousy, but he claims he isn't, a lie she doesn't buy, but goes on to thank him for the shoot regardless. Sure, she is grateful, he helped her out, but advises him not to compare himself with a professional model. Suddenly, he pulls her into the water, causing her to feel flustered. When she asks what he is doing, he tells her to make a wish to dry her clothes. He's obviously looking to snatch a kiss, but gets an elbow to the jaw instead. Wonso stands her ground here, making it clear that she wants to sort things out with him, and even though they aren't dating, she doesn't want to do anything that'll leave her feeling guilty. Annoyed and in pain, Doyah tells her to sort things out with Jaehyun. She is furious that he tried to steal a kiss from her, but he waves all that off and tries to sway her into kissing him. Certain she must have liked the last time and guesses she is refusing because she also locked lips with Jaehyun. She refuses to give him a definite response, accidentally revealing that she did share a kiss with his rival. He doesn't mind that, however, but wants to know if it was better than his. Initially, she thought she was over this guy, but she remembers her little intimate moment with him and he keeps going, knowing that she is about to be swayed. She is at wit's end in no time, but bites him hard to stop him and also save herself from falling. Being in a love triangle is taking a toll on our girl, but biting Doyah was just part one of her fight against his seduction. Part 2 is scolding him for trying to seduce her and setting the mood for her fall all along. He claims he has an elaborate explanation for everything and she'd like to hear it, waiting until he summons up the courage to tell he that he did all this because after he granted her wish, she ran away. Doyah can't see how she ran away when he wrote her a receipt, but he wanted a review to go with that kiss. After this display, he is definitely getting a 1 star from her. Till, for someone who has a lot of girls on his tab, he is afraid Wonso would make Jaehyun feel the way she made him feel. But his words don't work on her. They only annoy her, and she responds by reminding him of his many love interests, urging him to go to them instead of playing with her. She makes it vivid that she does not need his wishes, yet he refuses to step back. Relying on another tactic, he claims that he doesn't want another because she tastes better. That comment seems to get to our inexperienced Wonso, and his resilience pays off, earning him another moment with her. Since he got what he wanted, he tries again, but this one is for her and she takes it, even though she knows him as a demon that feeds on desire. She is certain he does this with other women, but unlike Jaehyun, he doesn't stop at 2, asking Wonso if she is sure she doesn't want more wishes. He can grant all her wishes, there is no limit to his power, however, all she wants is to try it up on her own, a request she makes after punching his jaw. Additionally, she wishes that the studio would be tidied and the tub cleaned, making these requests while giving out this menacing aura. She plans on giving him a review after this, but we know he might land in half star. Jaehyun, wherever he is, can't get Doyah's reaction out of his mind. Earlier, he could tell Doyah was trying to draw a line between him and Wonso without making it obvious. This means his plans may not go as smoothly as he anticipated. Undoubtedly, he'll make plans to handle Doyah, but for now, he has to handle his manager Daegu, who requests his salary for the month. This cocky guy spent cash dyeing his hair and is looking to get the money back, but he won't be getting anything. In fact, he won't be Jaehyun's manager for the month because he plans to get a new manager since something came up. Snooze to Daegu, but he isn't really scared because he's lost his job, but because Jaehyun is acting oddly again. An hour ago, he was less cold, resting during a break on the set, wondering why a stalker kept bothering him. She had been sending him messages he refused to respond. Continuing the endless flood of messages with a new line whenever he blocked the old one, but that wasn't the problem. Problem was that the stalker was watching him and could talk him to school. That halted his plan to take Wonso out for a meal. That was why he left the set with a cap and face mask, minutes before he went to see her, and was treated like a stalker instead. The ill treatment he got from Doyah undoubtedly hurt his pride, but he was sure his plan was still on the right track. His only problem was Wonso, who he felt didn't like him enough to stay if the rumor was spread by the stalker. To save his plans, he had to get rid of the stalker, and that was what he planned to do. He made a call on that note, knowing that the stalker was done for if he caught whoever it was. He suspected that Doyah's abilities kept the stalker in check for some time, allowing him to come back now. Maybe a demon's abilities had limits. Person Jaehyun reached out to was his mom, and he wanted to know if she had news on the person who took pictures of him. He wanted that person dealt with as soon as possible, but she didn't have a positive reply for him. Being told to wait a bit doesn't cut it. The matter was urgent, and he suspected the stalker went to the same school as him, complicating things more. If the stalker was truly at his school, he was going to have to take a break from school. For the house and the areas he was filming at, she could safeguard them, but school wasn't something she could handle. Hearing that he would be away from school was annoying, and he tried to negotiate with his mother, but the only solution she had was a bodyguard. They both knew hiring a bodyguard would cause a stir, so he decided to stay home instead. That didn't stop him from wanting the perpetrator caught ASAP, but would this unplanned event be an issue to his plans? Time will tell for sure. There's a lot that will unfold, but right now what unfolds is Wonso's fury. Her face has grown as red as a tomato, and she is punching the pillow, screaming she will never forgive Doyah, leaving Seo in the dark, arguing that her days go this way because she is alone. Promises her that it would exorcise Doyah, throwing rapid shots in the wind, but Wonso knows it would fail woefully. While Seo tries to make her take back what she said, she checks Doyah's DM, finding nothing to show he cared after what happened that afternoon. Her anger lingers until she glides into Jaehyun's DM, where she is greeted by countless messages she wishes she had checked on time. She tries to reply, but thoughts of Doyah and his deeds prevent her from typing a reasonable response. Even after Jaehyun has texted that they won't be able to go on another date, but they can hang out and she wants to go on another date, thoughts of the demon cloud her mind. Maybe Doyah doesn't flow well with Jaehyun because he's a demon is the best maybe she can think of. Whatever their reason for not being cool with each other is, it will not save her from thoughts of Doyah, so she reminds herself it was just an assignment. She needs to get her feelings in check because she has to look at his face later on to correct the pictures. As a result of the lots on her mind, she decides to take a shower to cool off, before diving straight into editing. Consequently, the pictures came out okay, proving that Doyah wasn't lying when he said he wanted to showcase his modeling skills. After that, Seo and Wonso binge a movie that leaves her swimming in thoughts of Doyah and how good getting intimate with him would feel. Her thoughts and her drowsy state lands her in a dream where Doyah gives her the unforgettable night she craves. The dream lasts until morning when her alarm tries to wake her up, but fails and Seo steps in, drop-kicking her to get her to wake up. His efforts pay off, waking her instantly before he asks her if she would like to carry it along. It didn't want to stay home, but its fate was fixed, like her thoughts are fixed on the weird dream about Doyah. She can't believe she has such a wacky dream, and 2 days after, she doesn't know how she is going to face the guy after having such a dream about him. She is in the middle of editing the photos, but wishes they had never done the photo shoot in the first place. It's too late for that. The deed has been done, and when Seo spots her and comes to say hi, she panics, shutting the laptop immediately. She didn't want to be caught staring at an image of Doyah and explains she was doing her assignment when she is asked. Seo guesses she doesn't want to show her what she did, but she tries to tell her that it's not how she sees it. She's embarrassed to show it to her, that's all. Anyway, that's not why Seo came over. She came over to discuss her outfit for the school trip, and with Wonso's help, she picked one out. Right now all she wants to do is get ready for the school trip, hoping that her outfit will help her seduce some handsome guy. The girls talk about the outfits and Seo's plan to seduce, laughing about it for some time. When Seo remembers to ask Wonso what she plans to wear. Being the happening babe on campus, she expects serious glam from her. The girl has a celebrity and the hot barista on her tab. Seo, unlike our unobservant Wonso, is sure our hot part-time barista likes her. Everything when she was with Doyah let her know he had feelings for Wonso. If it were up to her to choose which guy was best for her friend, she'd be in a dilemma. Both guys are star-studdedly handsome, and she can't say which of them is a good guy because she doesn't roll with either of them. Her definition of a good guy is one who is handsome and cares about her and doesn't have a lot of girls around him. Sincerely, she believes her friend only cares about the guy being handsome. Still, Seo knows that if she gets hooked on a guy, it'll be a problem. Even if the guy isn't handsome, thinking about him from time to time and his appearance in the girl's dreams means she's hooked, and that's romantic to her. Wonso, curious to get to the bottom of her dream, asks Hi Seo what happens when a girl has intimate dreams about a guy. To make it look like she isn't asking on her own behalf, she says it's for a friend. Whoever that friend is, Hi Seo advises that she find out whether the dream is generated by love or lust. If she is with him when she craves intimacy, it might be a problem. Her talk with Hi Seo makes her think about Wonso, pushing her to check his DM again. She discovers he hasn't texted her for 2 days, meaning he might think she is mad at him. She plans to forgive him if he apologizes and sends him the image she worked on, hoping to get his remark. What she doesn't know is that he has been down for those 2 days. Want us to continue this recap? Comment part 2 below. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ciao!